Hey guys, it's been a long time, actually it's never happened to me, where I've actually finished a book in one day. A book that would normally take me maybe 2 to 3 days to finish. It's never happened where I read that kind of book in one single day, in practically one actual sitting. What book could possibly have done that for me to make it so easy for me to get through? And that would be 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This book is about Clay and Hannah. Hannah has committed suicide, and before she did that, she made recordings of the 13 reasons why she did that, and she sends them out to the people, and they have to keep sending them to the next person. This book, surprisingly, is a suspense. It leaves you hanging and wondering, what did this person do? What's going to happen next? How is this going to end? And my heart was thumping and just so fearful for what the answer was going to be, because this isn't just a simple suspense story. This actually has to do with something about what she does to herself, which makes it even harder for some reason, because this isn't like someone did this and it's a clear right or wrong kind of a thing, but this is much bigger. You know, this person actually killed herself, and there's several reasons for why. The biggest reason is that she chose it, and she says that, you know, she says she chose this. But there's all these other reasons that kind of snowballed her into this decision. But with the suspense, I really appreciated that Jay Asher chose this way to handle the subject of suicide, because people tend to shy away from such a sensitive subject, and people just don't want to talk about it. It's just something that's just too hard for people to comprehend unless they've experienced it or know somebody who's gone through this before. So people tend to just say, no, I don't want to talk about this. But he does it in a way where if you choose to read this book, just study into it, it's really hard not to turn to the next page to find out what happens, because there's this suspense, there's this, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next to it all, and you just want to know, and you can't resist not finding out. And in the midst of it all, you're just learning how a person could kill themselves. The small things adding up can really do a lot to someone's psyche, and that's how it happened with Hannah. Now, I know that some people had issues with the way that Hannah and Clay's story were told. It was right after the other, but I felt that it was necessary for him to go between Hannah telling her reasons and Clay's reaction, because if you didn't have one or the other, you just wouldn't get the full picture. You just wouldn't be able to understand everything or get the whole feeling and emotion, and the story wouldn't be as powerful without that way. I do get why some people were frustrated with that, because it was sometimes hard to differentiate between the one or the other. I think that he could have formatted it a little bit differently so that people could really see it. He only italicized hers and made his regular, but if he had made one larger and the one smaller, it would have been even much more easier. So I think that was just a mistake of stylizing and formatting it all. I think it was very important that his reactions were interwoven with her story. What made this story so powerful to me, and what will make this story stick with me even more, is how much I could relate to Hannah and how much I could relate to Clay. There were similar situations that I was in Hannah's shoes. There were times in high school that was really horrible. I understood what it felt like for people to talk about you, and how each person's actions or inactions could affect you. So hard not to blame them just as much as you blame yourself. And I know there was this one reviewer is that she was upset with her for blaming everybody for her killing herself, but she's not just blaming them, she is blaming herself. She knows it was her choice, but you know, the small thing can have a big reaction and a big effect on another person, and I think that a lot of people don't understand that. I feel like saying that she has no right to blame another person for what she did to herself is wrong, because you don't know how another person is going to affect you, much less how you're going to affect another person. So I wouldn't blame her for blaming others, because it's just a part of the anger and grief. And also, she isn't blaming just them, she's blaming herself, so she's holding herself just as much accountable. The book really just affected me. It made me pull back and realize, and made me remember a lot of the things that happened in high school and even before that. So I get it, and I think that when someone like that who reviewed this and said that she didn't like that she blamed everybody, I understand that. I would not like to be blamed for someone else's suicide, but I also understand that what we do to another person can affect them in so many ways that we do not know. Like I said, this book was amazing. His ability to write a book in this way and in this style really just took me by surprise, because I didn't really expect to be affected so much by Hannah nor Clay, because I just didn't really think that I could relate to a high school kid anymore in this way, but I did in so many ways. Like, I could understand where Clay was coming from, and I could totally understand where Hannah was coming from. I did love this book so much. I think it's gonna stay with me forever, because I don't know, this book is just so powerful. So I gave this book 5-star rating. I loved it, and I would completely recommend it to anybody who is thinking about checking this book out. I think that everybody who has never dealt with suicide before in any form could get something out of this book. At least a bit of understanding of what it's like for somebody who is getting close to the decision of suicide. So hopefully that you were able to understand what I was talking about, because I feel like maybe I rambled and went off topic a little bit here, but this subject is so important to me. I just feel like people need to understand, you know, suicide is not black and white. It's not one person's fault more than the other, and so on. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.